When people meet with you, can they expect you to be fully present, not distracted, and totally focused on them? It's an important question, one we'll talk about today. I've had coaching clients over the years that have faced issues with not being fully present. I think this is an issue that comes up for certain people who find themselves drawn away from the present. There are a few reasons for this. One is, I believe, that we feel overwhelmed by the tugs at our attention, and we find it very difficult to be in one place completely focused on who we're meeting with. An example of this is a person that I worked with years ago who led a department, had about a half a dozen people reporting to them. When I interviewed those people and talked about their leader, I asked a question: what's one thing that they could do to be more effective? What I heard from several of them was that they could be totally focused on them when they were meeting with them. This was an interesting answer because I had not experienced my client not being fully present with me when we met for coaching sessions. When I brought this up with my client, at first they wanted to deny the feedback. But then when sitting with it for a bit, they had to admit that it was true. That there are times when they're meeting with one of their reports when they do look away. They look at an email. They hammer out a text message because they feel it's urgent and necessary in the moment. But it's not an emergency. They just feel it's urgent and necessary. What they didn't realize was the message they were sending to their reports when they did this was negative, that their report was not that important. Meeting with them was a routine activity and one that could be interrupted, delayed, postponed, etc. for something that was seemingly more urgent. When my client really took time to think about it, they realized this wasn't the message that they wanted to send. And that's a theme that we'll come back to. There was another client that I had who, same thing. He was told by his reports that he regularly looks away from the meeting and looks at his computer. Short attention span, impatience, curious about what's coming in. This person, I must say, is very responsive. When you send messages to this person, they tend to respond very quickly, more quickly than average. And I believe it's because they're regularly looking at their computer. It's a good thing to be responsive. It's a bad thing to feel that being responsive is more important than being focused on the person you're meeting with. Again, it sends the message that I have a value of being responsive that's greater than the value of being fully here and concentrating on our conversation. How do you get into the zone of a conversation with another person and truly have a creative conversation that leads to new and hopefully good outcomes out of that conversation unless you're totally immersed in it? I had another client who wasn't exactly my client. They were actually my sponsor in the sense that they paid for coaching that I provided inside their company. So they were my client in the sense that they were the buyer of the coaching services. And what they admitted to me was that in meetings, they would take their phone and regularly look at their phone and respond to email and text and so forth. They were glued to their phone. What was the message that they were sending? That I'm never 100% here. I'm here physically, but I'm not 100% here mentally because I'm in two worlds. I'm in the digital world and I'm in the physical world. If we're working remotely, it might be even easier to be distracted. So you may feel that due to the overwhelm, the demands on your time, that you cannot help but be distracted, to multitask, to try to be in two places at once. But it's not possible to intellectually focus on two high demanding tasks at the same time. Being fully engaged in a meeting, contributing to that conversation, and looking at your email and even writing a response to email or to texts, instant messages, etc. It's just not possible for the mind to do that. You have to check out of one conversation to check into another. So that's one. You're missing out on the opportunity to fully contribute to the meeting you're in and to receive from the meeting you're in. Two, and perhaps maybe more hard-hitting for you, is that the message that you want to send? This is what my clients had to confront, that it wasn't the message that they wanted to send. And when given the feedback, it was a wake-up call. Do you need that feedback, or do you already know that this is an issue for you? What can you do? Set aside times where you will be in the digital world. Block out times on your calendar where you're going to catch up on email and get into texts. Turn off notifications during meetings. Simply turn them off so that you're not pinged with messages when you're in meetings. If you need to, turn your phone off in meetings. Just don't even have it on. Or if you're in a remote meeting, perhaps turn off your email while you're in the meeting. Focus on taking notes. Focus on really seeking to contribute to the conversation. Look at the agenda beforehand. Think about how you might participate, what questions you have, what you want to get out of the meeting, who's going to be there, what might be their positions. Will there be room for spirited debate? And will you be engaged in that spirited debate rather than checked out? Start to proactively think about leaning into your meetings and contributing more to them rather than less. Perhaps that might be one way that you can overcome this tendency. And seek feedback. If you think you might be sending the wrong message about your full and total presence, seek feedback and ask others, how do I show up in meetings? Is it what you expect? Is it what you want and need? How can I be more engaged in meetings? What would you want from me? So consider the message that you're sending and how important it is to be on point and sending the right message as part of executive presence, which will be the topic for a future video. I hope this message helps you to think about how to better show up and consider the message that you're sending. If you have your own thoughts and ideas, please share them in the comments below. I promise to be responsive. And if you like this video, please share it with others, like it, and of course subscribe to the channel as more videos for leaders are on the way. And if you would like to learn more about executive coaching services for you, people who work for you, or teams that work for you, or the team that you're on, how to work better together as a team, how to be a more effective leader, how to reach your ambitious goals as a leader, email me at michael@BaerExecutiveCoach.com to request a meeting, or visit my website, BaerExecutiveCoach.com, and let's begin a conversation after you've had a chance to consider my services. Thank you very much.